It's fashion brand right now. There's a lot, but Zick made me shout out Zick made. Alright, bad Zick made.
Yeah, your brand is nowhere near like top 100 best brands of all time. I'm sorry to tell you, Zick made.
Basically just goes on to hate on Zig and talk about how basic his brand is and how it's not the best brand.
The hardest pill to swallow in fashion is that everyone has an opinion. And this brings me to my one gripe about content creators, a hyperfixation on being overly positive about everything.
There is a clear difference between hate and criticism. So in this video, he basically goes on to explain how I'm one of his biggest gripes in fashion, which is people who try to be overly positive, but he explains it from a standpoint of allowing opinion. Let's go ahead and break down the context of this video. So Zig is approached at his own pop-up, and he's asked the question, what's the best fashion brand out right now? To which he makes a non-legitimate claim, which is obvious if you read the room. And he says, Zig made, man, we at my pop-up right now. To which this dude takes what Zig said literally and responds by saying, no, Zig made isn't even close to the best brand out right now. And goes on to say how he makes basic garments, some other stuff about how they could be replicated easily, there's no creativity, yada 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 yada. As if what Zig said was literal. To which I make a response video saying, this rage bait type of content is very immature and very annoying, and is a huge reason why this fashion space is so toxic. First thing to point out is that Zig's statement is not legitimate, clearly just saying that to point out the pop-up that he's at for his own brand. So obviously knowing that, coming on this app and then just being like, yo Zig, your brand sucks bro, it's not good, obviously isn't criticism, nor is it just an expression of opinion. This is clearly hate, and anybody with two eyes and a brand can definitely see that. For example, if I didn't like this guy's hat, handsome guy by the way, he walks up to me and he says, bro, what do you think about my fit right now? And I say, honestly, I like everything, but I just really don't think the hat goes with it. That's what criticism is. Now, if this guy's walking down the street and I just see his fit and I don't like it, I may think to myself, man, that guy's fit is ugly. But then I'll just keep it pushing. That's called having an opinion. But then if I see this guy walking down the street and I go up to him just to tell him, hey, I don't like your fit, it looks terrible on you, bro, that stuff sucks. That's called hate. And that's exactly what goes on in this video. Zig is approached at his own pop-up, and for those who don't know, that is a brand event for his own brand. And he's asked, what is the best brand? To which he gives the obvious non-legitimate answer. Non-legitimate answer. Zig made his own brand at his own brand pop-up at his own brand function. It's almost like that's the obvious answer. It's almost like that answer is not legitimate. To which this guy goes out of his way to make sure Zig knows, unprompted, how much he just doesn't like his brand and how much his brand sucks. So much so that he makes an entire video dedicated to that topic. It's called hate. And the people who sit here and disguise hate as just having an opinion or just criticism are the most insufferable people in the fashion space. And I'm sure you guys know the difference. And last but not least, I've never seen somebody complain about another person who's overly positive or just chooses to lift people up instead of take them down. Sounds a bit hateful to me. It's just my opinion.